Hello everyone, my name is Zachary O'Shea, and this is Box of Teeth. Every October what I do is share a monster day for Dungeons & Dragons with everyone, and this October is no different. So here is your Monster Day Part 2 for October 28th, 2023. In week 4 for October Monster Day, what I do is something called Universal Antagonists each year, which is where I take a monster from a horror movie, horror book, horror video game, or the like, and reskin it for Dungeons & Dragons with a twist on it, so it's something you can present to your players, and they don't go, oh, come on. But at the same time, they're clued into the tropes they're going to have to deal with, so they know how to react. I like to share these with everyone else because it gives folks a good idea of how to take something that inspires them and make it fresh and new without being a pastiche. In part 1, we went over the Praying Lord Phase 1, which even though your heroes have failed it, does not mean the fight is over. So let's jump into Phase 2. Victory over the forest horror proves to be fleeting, for even as its insect-like body lay still and oozing, the gash in its stomach violently undulates. Within a few eye blinks, the tendrils about the Praying Lord's shoulders are sucked into its thorax, and its true form slithers free. A great pallid worm born of the far realm that has burrowed into reality rears up ready to finish off its would-be killers. The tendrils spill down its supple spine. Its face is far too human, save the dripping proboscis erupted from the putrid wound of its lower jaw. In this stage, the Praying Lord seeks to implant a new host for its parasitic soul. If there is none left of its cult to do, well, it'll have to find a hero. All right, everyone, let's go ahead and jump into the Praying Lord Phase 2. As a quick recap, Phase 1 is a giant praying mantis-like horror creature that has now been slain. That was a monstrosity. This is a CR7 aberration. It does have less hit points and less armor class in its first form, but it does have burrow movement. It keeps its innate spellcasting of Chill Touch, Pass Without Trace, and Plant Growth, and it also gains regeneration. It has 2 attacks it can make because it has multi-attack, one of which is Constrict. It wraps around a target and starts to slowly crush it. And the other is Proboscis. And the Proboscis, once it pierces someone, it does poison damage. They have to make a save or be poisoned for the next minute. If they fail that save by 5 or more, they become incapacitated for that minute instead. Of course, you get a save of each of your turns to get rid of the effects, which might be important because its other action is Implant Soul. So it inserts that proboscis into an incapacitated creature's mouth and basically lays a fragment of its soul into that creature. That creature needs to make a wisdom save. If not, well, Phase 2 automatically dies, but the infected creature suffers from strange, torturous dreams each night, where it gets to gain more and more of the Praying Lord's memories throughout time, and its maximum hit points are reduced by 1d10 per day. Once it hits 0 hit points because of that, well, guess what? The Praying Lord sprouts from its body and is fresh and ready in Phase 1 to wreak some terror and grow a new cult once more. If the target dies before that point, or a wish spell is cast on it, then the infection ends. So it's a nice ticking time bomb, but it's also how the creature can escape, later implant itself into a cultist, and come back to torture those creatures once again. All right, everyone. I really enjoyed sharing this creature with you. It comes, of course, from one of my favorite horror movies in the past decade, which would be The Ritual. If you have not read the book, The Ritual, that it's based off of, it's amazing, and the author's other novels are also pretty terrifying as well. I really recommend them. That's why I'm mentioning this once and only where this universal antagonist directly comes from. Okay, tomorrow we're going to start Big Bad Evil Guys and Gals and Other Things for the last 3 days of October. You can find the Praying Lord Phase 1 and 2, as well as every creature for this October, and every creature for previous Octobers, and hundreds of other horror-themed monsters for Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition at boxofteeth.blogspot.com. If you're more interested in the non-Dungeons & Dragons content that I have, or the horror fiction that I write, including grease paint right there between my fingers, you can always go to www.zacharyoshea.com. We only have 3 more days till Halloween, folks. I am super excited. Everybody have a wonderful rest of the day. I appreciate your time and your attention.